When I step up on a diamond, 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 diamonds on my wrist. When I step up on
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. The Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, to break down 3 industry articles every single weekday, 10:30 a.m. Central, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. You know what, you guys? We're just here. It's Freight Friday. Some of you guys are already pulling your fucking hair out of your heads because you failed on a load, or you're failing on a load, or there's a delay and a bunch of other bullshit. So we're just here to break down some realities for you guys, to talk about everything that's going on. My friend, my favorite attorney, Cassandra Gaines, is already in the audience. What's up, Cassandra? Good morning. She's drinking her coffee just like I do, religiously every single. It's like you know what you can drink, and you don't have to be 21 to keep yourself sane out there. Renee Johnson, good morning. Yo, what up? You guys, we're here. We're back as always. My friends over at VHub, they are the ones who make this show possible every single weekday out there for you. You guys, asset reallocation is the wave of the future in freight. Whether you're a trucking company or a brokerage alike, you guys, we need trailers, all right? And if you're one of those new entrants right now who are in this industry, and this is a power-only option for you, this is for you to build up some consistent lanes and consistent revenue to keep yourself in business. What's going on right now, as well as brokers. We all know when you're out there making your cold calls, what's the biggest objection you're always going to be faced with? We want to work with assets. Okay, so now you have that. So right now, currently on the vhubapp.com platform, what you can check out is they have round trip opportunities out there. So if you have customers in the Chicagoland area, they have freight going up into Toronto, Montreal, you can create a round trip drop trailer pool, one-way rental on this. Okay, so you pick up in the Chicagoland area, go to Toronto or Montreal, and then they have outbound freight for you, or outbound trailers as well. You guys, right out of Montreal. And then do you see this? I don't know if you can see this right here. Sorry, I'm not a tech company. You get paid $1,000 to move this. All right. That's on top of the freight that you book in there. So that's more money in the carrier's pocket. And, you know, and again, like, this just helps keep people running. This helps keep them in business. As you can see, you can run out of the York, PA area down here, you guys, actually up into Montreal. Coteau-du-Lac is the name of the city. And then you can grab another empty up there in Coteau-du-Lac to head back down into Shippensburg, PA. So again, you guys, and they also have these one-way repositionings out of the Utah and Glade Spring, Virginia area, heading up into Western Canada. And again, as you can see, you get paid to do all of that. All right. That's what it's all about, you guys. Check them out. My man, Xavier Campos, is already in the audience. Check him out, you guys. Hit him up, vhubapp.com. Do me a favor. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. We're blowing up in the comments already. Good morning, everybody. Tammy, good morning. Stace, good morning. Xavier, Teal, good morning. Samantha Bass, good morning. Nerf, what's up, brother? Good morning. You guys, what's up, man? What? Okay, Nerf's already saying, what if you cold call and just hand all your business to Glendale Double? God damn it, Nerf. Already hit it. Already hitting it. All right, you guys. Hey, DOT inspection week is officially over as of yesterday. So what, you know, and as you can see with some of the data that's out there, the rates kind of stabilized a little bit out there because, again, capacity, for whatever reason, you know, it's DOT inspection week. Drivers are going to do what they're going to do. It's their business. That's their prerogative. But you're going to see this, you guys. The rates on the spot market are going to, historically, they have increased around this DOT inspection week time through Memorial Day. So again, take this information to your customers. Do not let them bring the market shift to you. You guys, be proactive in these moments. You need to read these freight markets. The data doesn't lie. And you can see these trends that, you know, because again, at the end of the day, it is an educated guess. All right. No matter what the data is out there, it's an educated guess because every shipper is different and their pricing structure and everything else. But start learning to read freight markets, you guys, based off of lane history, historical data, and take that information and lock some of those consistent pricing in so we can pass that along to our carriers to keep them running, keep them in business and going out there. Also, we are at day 30 of the Freight Coach Morning Show tally that there is a fucking parking problem in this industry for our drivers, as well as facilities out there that don't allow them to use the restroom. Again, I understand both sides of the fence on the facilities thing, but until I see meaningful change, you guys, I'm not going to stop talking about this. I'm not going to bring it up. I don't do this for vanity metrics. All right. I do not do this for vanity metrics. I do not do this for likes. I do this because I am dedicated to education and progress in the trucking industry. All right. The silos in this industry have been going on for way too fucking long. And if we want the progress, a lot of us out here try and proclaim that we want, we got to have these tough conversations and there has to be meaningful change. And I'm not going to stop talking about it. Also, as my daily fuel reminder that the price of gold went down to staggering 1 cent. So we're still at $5.61 of gold per gallon, or diesel, excuse me, you guys. And we're up over $2.40 a gallon year over year. Again, I get all of that information from the EIA.gov. And from there, that's what I do. I take that information, see the trends involved in that as well. You guys, again, we can only control what we can control in this. Good morning, Casey. Let's see, Cassandra talking shit. I know this sounds semi-creepy. It is semi-creepy, but it's all right. Given the size of my belly laughter, tell me how to cold call Houston. Okay, I get this question frequently. So you know what? Let's do a little fucking impromptu coaching right now. If you're cold calling shippers, all right, do not call people for the sake of calling. Houston, research your prospects before you call. Identify the commodity that they ship. Be very specific about why you are calling them, all right? You don't, everybody has access to trucks. You better if you're a broker, and everybody thinks that they can save them money. It's not about saving them money. Are you the service and the capacity that you can source? Is it actually going to add value to their organization? Be very hyper-focused in why you're calling. Be very lane specific as well. Okay. I'm not calling because I'm great at Chicago to Atlanta. Everybody's fucking great at Chicago to Atlanta. Nobody needs help on that stuff. Identify the areas that they're going to need help on. If they have multiple facilities and say they have 7 shipping locations in their network here, Houston. If 6 of them are in major metropolitan areas and the 7th one is outside of one, chances are that's where they're going to need help on the most. All right. So start there, be hyper-focused. Do not chase freight markets. All right. I see this all the time all over social media. Oh, I'm going to start going down to Florida because it's produce season and this and that. Fucking everybody does that. All right. That's why it's so hard to break into a lot of this stuff, because you guys are all going after freight that everybody else wants to go after. Separate yourself, find that niche and go off on that. Josh Breeze, what's up, man? Happy Friday and chat. Nothing but positive vibes. That's right. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. Positive vibes only. And my computer just froze. So let's see if we can do something about that, because again, I'm not a tech company here, but I try and act like a morning show host. So as soon as I can get these articles popped up here, we will get going. Let's see. All right. That's not going to work. Okay. This is ridiculous. We're going to have to shoot from the hip on this one, you guys. And now let's see. Why won't this work? See, this is startup life, you guys. Here's the reality. This isn't all fucking glamorous. I'm trying to figure out how to operate everything. There we go. Now we're back. Now we are good. Absolutely. Houston, no problem. Nerf, there you go. God damn, talking shit, man. I love it. I miss Nerf. All right. Chandler. Yeah, you wouldn't, man. You're out there for the long term. All right, perfect. First article today is from FreightWaves, and this one was from a few years ago, but I had a buddy of mine send it over to me yesterday, thought that it was a pretty good read, and this one is titled when freight brokerage revenues plateau and what to do about it. This was written by JP Hampstead over there. And what it is freight brokerages in the United States is mostly made up of small companies and have trouble scaling their business beyond certain revenue thresholds due to unstructured processes, underutilization of technology, and ad hoc recruiting and training. Highly concentrated customer bases and revenue generating employees wasting their time on administrative tasks eventually become constraints on the growth. At a larger scale, around the $150 million in revenue, custom-built technology, automated carrier management, ongoing manager-level training, and leveraging a clear career progression path to drive recruiting become necessary to maintain rapid growth. This one says that there's 15,000 registered freight brokers. Only about 80 of those companies post revenues of over 100 million. That's out there. And this broke it down on a revenue by revenue basis. That's up here. So for me, it was this is the $50 million threshold. Freight brokerages are typically launched by experienced carrier or customer salespeople that gained from their experience from the big box brokers that are out there. Then they grow on brute force. And then the one day the founder looked up and sees 50 brokers and realizes they have a business. Early on, founders tend to hire experienced salespeople, friends and former colleagues. They tend to hire experienced people because the business isn't profitable enough yet to afford the overhead of hiring a new person with 6 months of cost. And then it's also back office processes that they talk about. And then they walked into a $15 million brokerage that can hand me, he has yet to walk into one that can hand really clean monthly financials. And I think like that's what a lot of, a lot of the brokers that I work with right now, and a lot of the ones that I have worked with in the past, it is processes, you guys. Processes are key to your growth. And, and I experienced that because like, obviously I started out working at XPO. I worked there for 6 years and we had a process for our processes, essentially. I mean, I got to give a shout out and give credit where credit is due and everything, you guys. And XPO has phenomenal training. We learned the ins and outs of this industry, but, we took that information when we went, and I worked for a startup broker. And for me, that's when the processes we really needed to dive in and dig our heels in on how to operate, because anybody can cold call, anybody can get out there, anybody can get a customer, but what are you going to do when you win the freight? And there's so much behind all of that, and you can scale, don't get me wrong. But to get to the levels that you really want to grow your business into, you need to do the little things. And I know that some of you out there are going to be like, oh, we want to, that like, that's just not always the case. Like, you got to look at it like this. If your sole goal is to add revenue, you do not have a business plan. All right. Hate to break it to you. If you think that, because this is one of the first questions I ask business owners when I'm out there working with them and we're trying to formulate a plan, or we're in the prospecting phase on my part, is I ask them, of a load volume count, if they're moving 1,000 loads in a month, if they're, 20 million in revenue, what their business goals are. And they always want to double in size. We all know the sounds of it. We want to go from 20 to 50 or 50 to 75 or whatever that looks like. And my first question is always, can you accurately cover the freight you're moving right now? And then on top of that, furthermore, it's how much of our carrier utilization is there? Are we using it one carrier, how many percentage of the time? And it's alarming where it's like 85 to 90% of the time that we're using a carrier once, and then we're never using them again. So it's like, my whole thing is we need to solidify operations. I think that I get it. As a business owner, I need revenue producing employees. And that's why everybody's always like, oh, we need to hire sales. We need to hire sales, which is true. You need sales reps. But if you don't have anybody to cover that freight, if you don't have quality training on your operations team, you are going to fucking fall apart at the seams. Because if you can't cover 1,000 loads right now, how the hell are you going to cover 1,500? How the hell are you going to cover 2,000 loads in a month? You're not. So for me, let's take a step back and let's look at that. How are we selling our freight to our carriers? Are you vague out there? I have a lot of drivers who watch this shit, So it's like, for me, are we out there selling it very vaguely? It picks here, it delivers here. This is what it weighs. This is what it pays. How much of it are you using just load boards for? Again, I'm a fan of load boards, but they're a crutch. Your whole purpose as a broker is to keep your customers and your carriers off the spot market. That's what you need to do. That's where you get those direct relationships that everybody loves to talk about during market shifts, but very few actually implement and run with. You guys, this isn't rocket science. We're not reinventing the wheel. We want to think that getting this platform or this program is going to fix our business. No, if you can't fucking cover one load, how the hell are you going to cover 100? That's what you need to look into. That is what is hampering you from scaling your operation. It's the fact that you have reps out there who are fucking running with their head, like a chicken with their head cut off. Sorry, I'm from small town USA. That's a real saying out there. But we're running around. We're not following anything. We're throwing darts against the wall. That might get you to 20 million. But if you want to get from 20 to 50 or 20 to 100 million, you need to have processes for literally everything. How you pull a carrier off a load, how you identify when there's an actual delay, what's going on, how you handle that delay. Are you repowering that trailer? How does that look? And before any drivers jump down my throat, the real brokers notify you of what's happening prior to you even accepting that load. So it shouldn't be a surprise in the event that there is any delay that's out there. You need to follow something. All right. This shoot from the hip mentality is fucking table stakes. All right. If you want to be a pro in this industry, if you want to move if you want to work with shippers that move 1,000 shipments a month plus, you better have your shit in order. Because if you can't cover 50 loads with 50 carriers, you need to look at that process and start there. Start in operations and solidify that. Again, I am a massive proponent of technology. My friend Cassandra Gaines has a great tool that's out there right now for you guys to check out in carrier, sure. But again, on top of that, you guys, technology is not needed to grow your business. It fucking helps, but technology is expensive. All right. You need it because like the last brokerage that I work with, I was on a Costco folding table. There was 4 of us. We were in a closet essentially, but we needed to follow a process. We had an Excel spreadsheet. We had Google. That was our lead generation software. And we had a TMS as well. But on top of that, that was it, and it was nothing but cell phones and outbound phone calls. All right. And again, it's like reutilize your carriers that are in your network. You're already spending all this time to get out there and put this freight out there to get covered, right? You're investing all of that time. And for me, it is very simple. You guys reuse the capacity as long as they're doing a good job for you. And again, I know it's not all sunshine and gumdrops out there. All right. I know that not every carrier out there is going to work out for you, just like not every shipper is going to work out for you. But you need to identify and work towards that. You can't just say that this is how the market goes. As brokers, we control a lot more than we like to fucking think. All right. We want to say that there's a lot of stuff out of our control. And don't get me wrong, there is stuff that's out of our control. But what can you control? You can control how you operate, right? You can control about when you're accepting loads. Are you getting extremely detail oriented in the approach? And then when you're selling it to a carrier as well, are you detail oriented in your approach? Because here's a news flash, you guys. Carriers don't want to work with shitty brokers just because you have the freight, and vice versa, right? So again, what can you control? Control that and operate, you guys, and then start executing. And then furthermore, you should, if you move more consistent freight than you think. All right. I know a lot of us are out there and they're like, oh, it's a spot market. Identify what lanes, start tracking that data. If you don't have technology to track that, pull up an Excel spreadsheet, you guys. Start tracking the quotes, what days of the week they come across, and start tracking where is that consistency. And then start building off of that. You're starting to see, this is all hypothetical examples. Dallas to Kansas City tends to show up on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Fridays of the week. I'm in my customer's ear the Friday before. Hey, if you have that Dallas to Kansas City for Tuesday, send it over to me right now. Here's the price. I can honor the same price as last week. Get ahead of it. Keep them off the spot market. Let them know that you want to work for their business. Again, we have to earn it. Keep your pipeline full, though. Just because you land a big account doesn't mean you stop selling. All right? I'm guilty of that in my career. You land a big account, you're like, fuck it, I'm on easy street now. Now I got everything I need. That doesn't keep you growing, though. All right? Complacency is rampant everywhere in this industry. And if you're going to grow your stuff out, you need to focus in on that. You need to focus in on reutilizing your carrier network, who's there and how to get it. BTC, Anwar, what is that? BTC's mining. I don't even know what that is. I hope that's not spam, man. I would hope you're not on my live show dropping spam in there. Yeah, Teal, 80-20. You spend 80% of your time, 20% of your freight, and you even notice that 80%, that's why you're letting it slide by, as Chris is talking. Thank you, Teal. Andrew Teal is one of the smartest people I know in this industry. You guys, if you're not connected with Andrew Teal, connect with Andrew Teal. Matt Leffler, know your customers. True 40 years. Yeah, 40 years ago it was true, and it's still true today. Again, you guys, I thought this was a good article over there that was written on kind of like the stages of the breakdown and kind of the problems that you see out there. It was from Freight Waves. It's when freight brokerage revenues plateau and what to do about it. There's some good talking points in there, but again, I think that at times we want to rely solely on technology to do our jobs. And don't get me wrong, again, it's great, but we need to know how to operate without it. And then because it's just like right now, the way that I see it, when it's shifting into a broker's market, the real brokers that are out there, they're fucking double and tripling down on their sales because they know the temptation that comes along with this. When it gets soft in a certain segment of the industry, everyone pushes it too far. And again, I'm never going to say don't make money, you guys. That's not my message with that. But when that spot market starts to free up and those rates start to drop, greed comes in. So the real savage brokers are in every fucking shipper and prospect's ear every single day right now, knowing that somebody's going to be dropping the ball soon. That's the reality of it. When it's a broker's market, that's your opportunity to grow when you're a broker. Because I know brokers very fucking well. I was one for a very long time. I know how I operated early on in my career, and I know there's a lot of you out there operating in that capacity right now. The opportunities are always there in any freight market there is, you guys, especially when it's a broker's market. There's a lot of opportunity for you right now. Second article we're going to break down today is from my friends over at DAT. This one was written by my friend Dean Croak, and it was the same safety flawed ELD logic is now being applied to speed limiters. This one is, all right, so rather than solve more immediate and pressing issues truck drivers face daily, the FMCSA plans to impose speed limiters on all heavy vehicles. This proposal raises more questions than it provides answers. How about we fix the national truck parking crisis first? Agreed. Why not impose speed limiters for all road users, including car drivers responsible for 80% of the accidents involving heavy vehicles? Let's answer why the number of trucks involved in fatal crashes went up 2% after ELDs were introduced and increased 13% in 2021 before wasting time in a fool's errand. Let's fix the real issues before inventing new ones. The touted safety benefits of ELDs never materialized, but of course, there's always going to be the cases because it was never just about safety. It was really about leveling the playing field from a productivity perspective. The flexibility of paper logs afforded small carriers made them more competitive than large fleets already using electric logs. The same flawed logic is now being applied to speed limiters because hours of service regulations regulate time, not speed. If you can legally run 70 miles an hour and you can legally in 11 states, a driver will be 40 miles ahead of a fleet truck speed limit 50 to 65 miles an hour. And that's the real reason for speed limiter push, productivity. Worse though, the proposed speed limiter rule will make our highways less safe for all users. Again, I thought this was a great article overall. And I'm not a fan of the FMCSA or any government mandating anything, let alone a business having a speed limit on their trucks. Where I do agree is the data that is behind and how it can benefit the company. Not telling them they have to do it, but saying, if you do this, here's the proposed benefits. You make what is best suited for your business and your company. You make that decision. That's my stance on it. Let's see. And then it was having been over there, and this is from the subheader in this is what can we learn from the mistakes made while implementing ELDs? Having been an over-the-road driver, Dean was an over-the-road driver and using electronic and paper logs, I knew that hours of service compliance had nothing to do with my safety. So in 2006, I began a 5-year study of accident rates of fleets using both types of logs to prove my theory. That being compliant to unsafe regulations won't make you a safer driver. It will make you worse. After all, you can be 100% compliant with hours of service regulations and still be sound asleep at the wheel. Driving too slowly can be just as dangerous, is what they go in and break down. And from a driver who's got over 2 million over-the-road miles behind him, it's not the speed that's the problem. It's the inappropriate speed for the conditions that are the problem. And that's not linear, i.e. the faster you drive, the riskier you drive. And yeah, I mean, that was for me, it was, that was one thing. That was one of the first things that my dad taught me early on is when I was driving. Granted, I was fortunate to learn how to drive in the snow and like the repercussions of what happens when you act erratically when your car started to slide. Like, obviously, again, this is not advice for me at all. I'm just providing my perspective on this. My dad said, never lock up your brakes if you start slipping on the road, because that's going to turn your car into essentially a speeding bullet and you're going to go off the road. Again, I think that it's a lot of training, and I think it's that fundamental training aspect. And it's kind of very similar to the broker side of it. Are we training them to set them up for success, or are we training them to produce revenue for our company? And again, I understand that that's what their role is, but I want an emphasis on like the safer driving tactics, because like no shipment's worth somebody's life. All right, no matter what, no shipment's worth anybody's life that's out there. Let's see. Trio has a question. Would you do speed limiter if it meant 10% reduction in insurance premium? Seems like things going up without return for the carriers of the speed limiters. I mean, I can't accurately answer that. But my opinion on it is, to me, I think that if that does reduce, if there's actual cost savings that could be done for the insurance, I mean, every angle should be looked at. But I mean, to be frank, Teal, I can't answer that because I don't really know. Cassandra, what don't you agree on? I want to know. All right, and then put pure stock in the COE while turning down the snow. You'll go straight forever. Yep. All right, let's see. And then the law of unintended consequences is kind of how this article finished out, or excuse me. Let's see. Just like the ELDs resulted in truckers driving faster in the rush to get more miles in their workday and avoid violations, speed limiters will also result in unintended consequences. Just travel any interstate today and you'll see an 18-wheeler dangerously parked in the breakdown lane with a 30-minute break at the 8-hour mark to avoid a violation. Compliant but not safe. One of the most obvious unintended consequences of speed limiters, trucks below the flow of traffic speeds on interstate will be more crashes. According to OIDA, studies and research have already been proven that we were all taught a long time ago in driver's ed classes that traffic is the safest when vehicles all travel at the same relative speed. Yeah, again, there's some good art. There's a lot of good talking points in this. I really enjoyed this one. Again, it was from DAT.com. It was their blog post by Dean Croakey, and it was the same safety flawed ELD logic is now being applied to speed limiters. Again, I would check that out and do that. Trucks should not be going 90 on the road. Speed limiters are needed because bottom feeder drivers kill people. I mean, I can't argue with the logic behind that at all, Cassandra, because I agree that they shouldn't be going 90 miles an hour. But do you think someone's going to break the law regardless of if that speed limiter is in place? I feel like how are they going to stop somebody from removing that? How are they going to do that? And is it going to be dragged to the ELDs? That's what I want to know is the more information behind it. All the articles that I've read haven't talked about that because what does it do if a driver removes it? Going too slow on the road. That's a bullshit argument. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that the benefits of the speed limiters, I would love to know why the large carriers do it. I'll ask some of my friends, and because it's like a lot of the data that I've seen have been a lot around the fuel saving aspect of it, because if your truck is governed at 65, it burns less fuel than if it's at 70 and 72 miles an hour and stuff like that. But no, I mean, I agree with you to that point, Cassandra, that nobody should be driving 90 miles an hour down the road. Let's be honest. Let's see. Yeah, Nerf. That's a good point. In Canada, it's been around for a while, and all carriers somehow go faster than my car. They probably removed it. Yeah, I think that from that standpoint, I personally fundamentally don't believe that anybody should tell them that they have to do it, but have the data presented to somebody and let them make their own educated decision on what they want to do for their business. And that is something that, yeah, I would take out there. Shit, we only got a couple of minutes left. I kind of went on there for a while. That's my bad. That's not my bad. But it's my show, you guys. Shit happens at the end of the day. And I love counter arguments. I truly do, you guys. I'm not here to sit here and say that I'm right. And I'm not fucking right. All right. I'm wrong more times than I'm right. I just want to provide a different perspective on things. And I truly appreciate everybody's perspective that you guys can show. I mean, again, I don't want an echo chamber. I like to be challenged. I like to think about things in a different perspective. I do my research on things. And frankly, that's how progress is made. That's how progress is made, you guys, is when we look at things through a different light and we don't rely on this is the way that we've always done things. So it's definitely something I want to see a heavier emphasis on in this, because again, that's what we're all about here is progress and education and moving the industry forward. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, you guys. We're right at the 30-minute mark. Shit flies by when you're having fun, when you have great engagement in the audience. I appreciate you guys all. That's kind of it for today. The audio replay will be available on my podcast here in a little bit, and that's Coffee with the Freight Coach. It's available on iTunes and Spotify. The video replay is obviously available on LinkedIn, YouTube. Subscribe and share this out. You guys, again, this is how this has all grown. It's through all of this engagement, all of you amazing people taking time out of your day to come and listen to this content and listen to this every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Central, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, the top morning show in transportation, the Freight Coach morning show that's out there. I appreciate you guys all so much. Have a great weekend. Again, be prepared. Next week is technically a holiday week. Get ahead of it and let's do this. All right, you guys, let's fucking do this. Next week's a holiday. Don't forget it. Get ahead of these things. Have a great weekend, everybody. And again, check out my friend Cassandra Gaines' platform carrier shirt. She's been really help you out with all that stuff. We'll talk to you guys soon.